Hello everyone, I'm Jen and welcome back to the Happy Little Book Nook. It feels like it has been forever since we've done something that is not Camp NaNoWriMo and just a normal good old book video. So that's what we're here to do today. I have currently finished 2 books that I'm going to be reviewing for you. So this one's going to be one, I'll do another one later. I'm trying to get back into the bookish life because I miss it. I've read so many Outlander books lately that I just haven't really been able to dive into the young adult world like I normally want to, and as you can see, I have way too many books to read. So this first book that we're going to talk about today, that I did just finish reading, is called Bookishly Ever After. It is the first in a series. I don't know what's coming next, but it says book 1 right across there of the Ever After series. And truthfully, I'm hoping that they will make some more of these because this was a really, really cute book. Ignore all the post-its on that side there. I'm going to be typing up a more detailed review on my blog, and I just wanted to kind of remember some of these little sayings and some kind of prominent points. But let's talk about the book. First, adorable cover. I love the colours. But I really, really loved it. And of course, the minute it said bookishly, I was like, well, that's a book I have to have. So it talks about a 16-year-old girl named Phoebe. And Phoebe is what you would call, or what she kind of calls herself, a book nerd. And she's in high school and she just loves her books. She's like us, you know. She loves to read them. She loves to live in them. She's got a heap of book boyfriends. And she kind of judges her worldview or her life around these characters. And throughout this book, let me see if I can find an example. I think it's back here a little bit further. She actually creates this like journal where she takes excerpts. So this is like her little excerpt of the books that she loves. And let's see here. Let me find a good example. And then she'll like make little comments. So like her little comments of what she thinks the characters did great, or how she might be able to emulate that character a little bit more. And it's really cute. Her friends think it's really weird and really odd. Maybe it is, I don't know. In my view, I don't think it is. I really, really related to Phoebe, even though I'm not in high school anymore. Just the love for books and the love for characters and stories really, really spoke to me. And in this book, she meets this guy named Dev. And Dev is a super outgoing theatre major who is super good looking and not the guy that she's crushing on. There's another guy that she's crushing on that reminds her of one of her book boyfriends. And of course, that's the guy that she wants, because don't we all? Dev ends up trying to gain her affections, and at first she's kind of like, no, you're not the guy that I want, and that's kind of awkward. But then over time she discovers, you know what, maybe he could be the guy that I want. And they kind of do this back and forth thing, neither one really knowing who wants what. And it's a little frustrating throughout the book because you're like, do you like each other or do you not like each other? And you can never really tell how he feels about her, per se. And she kind of builds up this bookish romance, you know, based on the books that she kind of picks out in here, and these characters that she loves, and these romantic kiss scenes, and these romantic dates, and moments of saving the world, and we know about those. And when her and Dev kind of have their moment, it just kind of felt a little anticlimactic, like, really? Like, that's it? But I also thought it was kind of beautiful at the same time. There's a comment in here. Let me see if I have it. So Phoebe makes a comment that she says, I know that life isn't a book. And her friend says, and that's why you need to put yourself out there. And they start talking about guys not coming after her, and her friends are very much like, you gotta get your head out of the books, you gotta stop thinking this way, you just kind of gotta accept life the way that it is. And I know personally, I've been on that end of the conversation where, you know, where you can't look for the perfect guy because he doesn't exist. You know, you can't judge men by the characters that you read about. you know, life doesn't turn out like a book. You know, you're not these characters, etc., etc., etc. You know the rant. And I love that she's honest to say, I know that it's not a book. I know nothing is perfect. And I think what's so cool about Phoebe in this book is she takes these characters and she kind of pulls from them the traits and the characteristics that she feels are important. She feels are honorable or noteworthy. And even though she's trying to kind of become like them, which we shouldn't have to do, I think we all kind of do that. I know personally there are tons of characters on my books here that I would love to be like, you know, characters like, oh, I'm kind of like her, or maybe if I do a little of this, or maybe if I respond in this way, or I say this line from this book, etc., etc., you know, it'll get me where I want to go, or to get me the guy's attention, or whatever the situation may be. So I definitely relate to her, and I know how she feels with her friends saying like, hey, you gotta get your head out of that, don't look at it. I will talk more about it in the blog because I don't want this video to go on like for a million years. But truthfully, like, I don't see anything wrong with book boyfriends. I don't see anything wrong with us having expectations or standards for what we know that we deserve. As girls, you know, we shouldn't have to settle for guys that don't rise to meet the standards of a good guy. You know, there's so many guys that just think they can treat girls like rubbish and, you know, not woo her or give her some romance or treat her nicely. And that doesn't mean you have to buy her everything or say the perfect thing or be perfect. The best characters, in my opinion, are the ones that are flawed and the ones that aren't perfect. And those are the ones I love. So I think, you know, there's a give and take. And I'll definitely talk about it in my blog because I can get real wordy in there. There was another couple lines in here. So at one point, Phoebe's going on, totally crushing over Dev now. She's just in this mode of, I want this boy, it's unrequited love, he doesn't seem to want me, he wants the beautiful girl that is outgoing and dresses trendy, and I am not that. And she makes this comment that this wasn't a fairy tale and it wasn't a book. Dev wasn't going to come running after me with a glass slipper or dive in front of me to protect me from evil fae. Why had I been so stupid and naive to think otherwise? And that line kind of stands out to me because I think, you know, for a lot of us, we do see things differently. You know, we read so many books, we're exposed to so many different cultures and generations. You know, a lot of us love books of characters that were from a totally different time than we are. And I think it kind of, in a way, ruins us and kind of wrecks us for, like, where we're at now. You know, I know for me, one of my book boyfriends is Edward Cullen, and he's from the 1900s. It was a very different time back then, and the world that he grew up in and how he treats Bella is, you know, reminiscent of his era and who he grew up to be. And I think that there's, and you look at like a Will Herondale or some of these other characters that just grow up in these worlds that are not like ours, and so we think, well, why not? Like, why couldn't you be like that? And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but we are used to these characters, these male characters coming out and, you know, going after the girl and being, in my opinion, very manly and being courageous and jumping in front of her to protect her because he loves her so much that he can't imagine life without her. You know, these very brave, heroic moves. And granted, it's not always going to be like that, but I think we expect that. We want that guy to still be the protector, and even though we are women and we can protect ourselves and we're strong and we can do anything, I think there's still just that beautiful moment of a guy wanting to protect you and stand in for you and say, hey, like, I know you can do it, but let me help you. That's why I love the character Foal. I love Foal and Triss's relationship so much because he knows she's strong and he knows she can do things on her own, and he still lets her do that. But he's also there to, like, help her out, you know, and he loves her so much that he would die for her. And you know that, and he shows it a multitude of ways. But he still lets her do her, you know, and I think that's what we're all kind of looking for. At least I know I am. And so I kind of felt bad for Phoebe when she was like, oh, well, I guess guys are just going to do their thing. And I know my own experience, you know, guys just kind of wait around and they don't do anything. And you're like, hey, it would be kind of nice if you put a little effort in. So again, I'll talk about it more in my blog, but I can relate. So the camera cut out on me. Hopefully I can pick up where I left off. But yeah, so I will definitely be blogging more about kind of my opinions on a little deeper into how Phoebe sees the world and her book boyfriend ideals and stuff, because I don't think they're all such a bad idea, and I think they can be a very good idea. But overall, I really, really like this book. I gave it 3 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. The writing was a little weird at times, and I don't know if that's just this particular author's style, if she is bringing it from like a different culture, because I know she's from Jersey, but she also lived, what was it, Portugal, so I don't know if it's just kind of the Portuguese coming out or if it's something else. Like for instance, Phoebe's sitting in line for a book launch and she keeps saying I'm online, and it was just a little weird to me because I was like, well, online means something to me, but sitting in a line is different. Even in queue, which I know like a lot of the Brits and Australians say is one thing, but it was just kind of odd. So there were a few things that I would kind of reread over and over again, and I was like, okay. And again, the relationship between Dev and Phoebe just was a little anticlimactic from what I'd hoped it would be, and I really think that there could have been a little bit more to this story and kind of the resolution and stuff. But overall, I loved it. Definitely spoke to my book nerd heart. Totally relate to Phoebe, no matter what age you're at. If you love books and you are crazy about them, this is the book for you. So I highly, highly recommend that you pick it up. Please comment down below if you've already read this and if you have, what your thoughts were. I'd love to hear whether you agree, whether you don't agree, or just kind of where you're at with it. Also comment down below just to say hi and to let me know if you plan to read this book, because it is really, really, really good. Definitely a cute book. If you're a book lover like I am, something you definitely want on your bookshelves, because it's definitely worth it. But until next time, book lovelies, happy reading, and I will see you soon.